So close your eyes and think of a happy moment. Allow yourself to fall into another emotion of a happy event. Expand that even more. Allow yourself to feel and fall into a deep moment of satisfaction. What just happened? Emotions rise and fall like the waves of the ocean. At the age of 7, I crossed the ocean from the south of France. I left my home, I left my friends, and all that I knew. I moved to Australia, and boy, what a culture shock. I couldn't even speak the language. On my 8th birthday, I received a little girl's lockable journal, my own personal journal where I could express my emotions openly and keep them a secret as I was evolving into a new identity. I did this throughout my teens and then into my 20s. I had them stashed in boxes. I'm talking about thousands of hours of writing. And then in my mid-20s, I decided to open up my Pandora's box. Much to my surprise, I could no longer relate to that girl on the pages. And I couldn't even believe some of the things that I used to think about and even worry about. Obviously, I had grown and I had changed. And I had evolved into an individual because I was able to pour my emotions onto the pages. I still do this today. I still continue to document all of my thoughts and emotions, but I've become a lot more creative and experimental. I use different coloured pens depending on how I'm feeling. Did you know that our thought patterns and emotions affect our health? Let's go back to the beginning, that little experiment, thinking of a happy event. I wonder what your body was experiencing when you had those thoughts. Some of you may have had butterflies in your belly, others tingles up and down your spine. You see, these are only bodily sensations. Emotions are energy in motion. We all have them. We all react and respond with them. The question is for how long? So, I'm a coach. And in my business, I see lots of clients who face difficult situations. One in particular, a lady who went through a divorce. Now, naturally, she would experience these negative emotions. But 8 years later, she is still hanging on to these negative emotions. When we hang on to these emotions for a long period of time, we create so many limitations for ourselves. We give our memorized emotions so much power that they ultimately become our identity. Let's now take a closer look in what ways our emotional patterns can take a toll on our well-being. Recently, scientists at the Heart Math Institute have been exploring the concept of how our emotions affect our health. And what they have discovered is that our heart emits electromagnetic fields that change according to our emotions. And by measuring these fields, these scientists have been able to identify that positive emotions create benefits like boost our immune system. And guess what? They've also been able to prove that negative emotions create nervous system chaos that leads to stress and anxiety. So clearly, our emotions have a massive impact on us, whether positive or negative. So how can we create more positive emotions in our life? I would like to share 3 practices that I use as a way to keep my positive emotions and thoughts so that I live a happy and fulfilling life. So my first one is how to trick your mind with your body. The second one is how to be the observer of your thoughts and emotions. And the third one is how to journal like a pro. Practice number 1, how to trick your mind with our body. Now, our body influences our emotions. Try skipping and staying in a bad mood. Impossible, right? Okay, let's do this activity together. Everybody, give yourself a big hug. Embrace yourself. Hold yourself tight. Now allow your body to drop into your belly. Allow your head to drop. And now feel the weight of your body in the chair. And from that position, try to get really excited. See, clearly our physiology impacts our mindset. Our physiology is so important that it makes up most of our communication. Let me explain. Research from Ray Birdwhistell, an incredible American anthropologist who coined the term kinesics, which basically means body language. And what he found is that 55% of the way that we communicate is through our body. Now that's a lot, isn't it? Now some of you may be sitting there thinking, hang on, words are important, and the tone, the way that you speak to me are also important. Putting these all together don't even make up half of what others hear from us when we are communicating. Clearly, our physiology is very important. It trumps all. So what this means is that my body is already communicating to you without even me opening up my mouth and uttering a word. This is what we call non-verbal communication. Now, as a coach, I use this. I look for what my clients are not telling me. So the next time you are feeling down, sad or angry, try skipping. Because what actually takes place is now your physiology is affecting your psychology and your mind can't tell the difference between whether it's happy or unhappy. What your mind is experiencing is that it's seeing that you're jumping up and down, bouncing around, and it's associating these movements as joy. And eventually your mind will come on board and have a joyful experience too. Practice number 2, how to become the observer of your thoughts and emotions. Now first, imagine that your thoughts and emotions are characters out of a movie. I'm the director of my movie. I am sitting in my casting director's chair as I'm observing these characters, which are my thoughts and emotions. As I'm analysing these characters, I have to make a decision as to whether I would like to invest time and energy with these characters. Now, if I see that these characters no longer serve me or they're a waste of my time, I let them go. The purpose to this is if we don't do these 3 things, observe, analyse and let go, we can get caught up in an emotional whirlwind just because we didn't slow down enough to observe. Practice number 3, the power of journaling. As I've already shared with you, journaling has been a big part of my life and it still is. It's allowed me to see my thoughts and emotion from a different perspective. Journaling is writing without thinking. It's allowing your stream of consciousness to create words on paper. Having a journal where you can write every day what you are thinking, what you are feeling and what you are experiencing will increase your creative juices. The more you do it, the better you get. So there's a lot of research now that shows the benefits of journaling. And some of these are managing anxiety, reducing stress, coping with depression, helping you work through your fears, and lessen the intensity of your emotions. Now, journaling, like meditation, works best if it's a daily practice. Now, of course, there are going to be times where you feel you need to deep dive, but most of the times, a paragraph will do. I actually incorporating a little bit of doodling sometimes. It doesn't matter how you do it, the purpose is to empty your head. I think that my practice number 3 about journaling is so important that I would like to share a couple of extra bonus ideas on what kind of questions you can ask yourself when journaling. And I focus on 3 things. I focus on thoughts, words, and feelings. And it could be as simple as this. What was my thinking like today? Well, today I was thinking a lot about the future. I wasn't being present. And I was actually questioning whether I wanted to be doing this. Words. What was my language like? What kind of words did I use? Well, today I noticed I used try quite a fair bit. Obviously, I wasn't committed to the task at hand. Feelings. Overall, what was my feelings like today? Well, today I was feeling a little bit sensitive and tired. I think I need to take a break. There are so many ways that you can deep dive and do some self-discovery, some self-exploration with journaling. One way that I like to deep dive is I like to unpack my repressed emotions. And the way that I do that is instead of me stopping an emotion in my body, I allow my body to experience it and then I settle it in the present moment. And you can do this in 3 easy steps. So first, open up your journal and you've got to label your journal. So I am feeling angry. Second, probe your emotion. What does your emotion want? Well, my emotion wants attention. Thirdly, find 3 alternative meanings to your emotion so in order to get unstuck. It could be 1, I don't feel valued. 2, my needs are not met. 3, I need to ask for more help. When journaling, allow yourself to think through your pen and use different coloured pens depending on how you are feeling. The most important thing is that you enjoy the process and just write what comes to mind. We can learn to use our emotions as our guiding system if we are willing to trust and value the messages that they provide for us. Remember, we create our own reality. We decide whether to keep our journal locked away or whether to open it up and start changing our lives for the better. If we can observe, analyse and let go of the emotions poured onto the pages, we can create a new identity for ourselves that is aligned with our greatest aspirations, goals, and dreams of what we want to be, do, and have. For me, it all started as a little French girl experiencing a culture shock in Australia. That journal for me was my first step to connecting with my emotions and overcoming them. For you, it can be today. If you walk out of this theatre with the courage to challenge your emotional patterns, you can start acting towards change. And there is no better time to change them now. Your own journal awaits. Thank you.